What are things city people don't understand about country folk? They, talking about farmers, can be many times wealthier than the people living in expensive neighborhoods. And you would know it. Sense of scale when it comes to distance. I'm originally from Australia but live in the UK. Australia is ridiculously large but its population is surprisingly small. When Tinder was invented, I lived in Queensland. Queensland is roughly the same size as Texas, but only has a population of 5.2 million people or thereabout. My cousin told me he had a match and was going to drive up and meet her. I asked where she lived and he said Bundaberg. That was 6 hours away. I just shrugged and thought that seems reasonable. These days I live in the UK. If a hookup is more than 5 miles away, they may as well be in China. When going to the mall in a city is a treat. Lots of city folks, who are used to the anonymity that comes from living among a large population, don't realize the ramifications of country living. Everyone knows everyone, and personal politics are a lot more important. You can face real repercussions if you get on the wrong people's bad side. Also, unrelated, times and schedules and things are often much more relaxed in the countryside. If a store says it'll open at 10 a.m. and they don't make it in till 11 o'clock, well, them's the breaks. I live in the country, and the biggest thing we deal with is the distance away from everything. Pizza? There is no delivery. Get in the truck and go to town to pick it up. But don't call then drive there, 'cause it takes less time to make than it does to drive. Same thing with all food. But the biggest thing is emergency services. Police are an hour away. Fire department. Same thing. So if you go onto a farmyard and you aren't expected, be very careful, 'cause the police response takes a while. But Winster is beside the door. The first time my friends have come out here, they live in major cities. To where I live in very rural Appalachia. They're always surprised at the quiet. They are then equally as surprised by our night sounds, which are very different from what they're used to. The quiet can be unsettling to those who aren't used to it. I guess. No traffic sounds. No people talking on the street outside. No sirens or anything. Barring an emergency somewhere very close by. I'm used to the quiet. And one of my friends especially doesn't know how I stand it every day. That we can be extremely intelligent, have college degrees and are kind, generous people. I once knew a lady from a large city who was scared to drive in the country in case she broke down. It's literally the safest place, and chances are you'll have a couple farmers stop to help who are certified mechanics. You need a vehicle, or at least access to one, if you want to get anywhere. There's no sidewalks in the country. The store could be a 15-minute or 2-hour drive. Access to a lot of things is limited. There's a joke in my town, based on truth, that you can find what you need, but probably not what you want. Odds are high that everyone is religious. Having different beliefs or looks can and will make you a target. Don't burn bridges or you might not find employment or help when you need it. Because everyone knows everyone. There's wildlife, like, everywhere. Economies of scale when it comes to public services. Country people can be nice and intelligent. Mostly. The weird emotional incest, I don't know if this is common in big cities. But in rural towns, everyone is so up in everyone else's shit. And judgmental as fuck. Families have a hard time separating generations and having appropriate boundaries. I've known more country people who've gotten shot than city people. We all aren't trailer park living. Cousin fucking. Racist. Hick. Calling out the many users of Pennsylvania sub on this. I am a city person who has spent lots of time living in the country. I currently live 20 minutes from the nearest town of 10K. And 45 minutes from a town of 25K. I haven't lived in a true city, SF, in a decade. Believe it or not, a lot of country people are literally, actually scared of the city. They think they will be gay raped and murdered. No. It's not the majority. But like 20% of the morons where I live think that extremely. For my hometown. Not even sure if I can call it a town with its population. A lot of my city slicker classmates find it hard at first to adjust to the quiet nature of a sleepy little town. We don't like to stir up any trouble. Most of us anyway. And we live our nice and quiet lives in when the college is in session. They learn to at least get used to it, if not prefer it. Some of them grew up in a small town, left to the big city after high school. I would occasionally visit only during the holidays and didn't really bother mingling with anyone while I was there. Ended up moving back to the small town because of some family matters, and it seems as if I traveled backwards in time. That country folk can be just as happy, if not happier. It's simply a different lifestyle.